Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the portfolio. Welcome back to the channel. As I do with all of my videos, I want to first say thank you to all the supporters on the channel, all the subscribers, all the viewers showing the channel so much support. I immensely appreciate that. For today's video, I thought I'd do an update of the overall portfolio. The last update I did was around $500,000 at the end of last year, 2020. So I thought I'd do an update on the portfolio, going through all of the holdings in the portfolio, as well as commenting on some of the trades that I anticipate in the next few months of trading. So let's go ahead and take a look here. If you guys have watched my prior all portfolio review videos, you know that all of these stocks are arranged per market segment. For example, ETFs, healthcare, pharmaceutical companies, services companies, so on and so forth. And I'll highlight those as we go through the list of stocks here. The other thing too is if you have not watched one of these before, some of the holdings only have one share. For example, up on top there, DVY has one share. This is simply because these were some of the first stocks I bought initially when I established a Robinhood portfolio back in 2016. And I've kind of left them in the portfolio for no particular reason, just kept them in there. So again, if you see one share or a few shares, that is the reason. Those were the initial stocks that I bought with the Robinhood portfolio. And as you'll see here, most of the portfolio is concentrated in a few key holdings. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I will highlight the position you can see here in the middle, or at least on the bottom of the screen, shares, market value, and portfolio diversity. Again, to give you guys a sense of the overall structure of the portfolio here. So let's go ahead and start here. The first stocks up on top here are exchange traded funds, or ETF. The first one here is DVY, iShares Dow Jones Select Dividend ETF. One share, 114.11 market value. And again, right below the market value will be the portfolio diversity. This one share, a very small proportion of the overall portfolio. Diversity here, just 0.01%. The next ETF here is SCHD, a Schwab fund, one share, 72.15. SDY, S&P 500 ETF, one share, 116.51. SPHD, PowerShares S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility Fund. You guys have probably heard me talk about this in the past. This is one of my favorites when Robinhood did not have the ability to buy in fractional shares. The value of this one is only $42.44. And what I like about it is that it has a dividend that pays out monthly. Very rare for an ETF to have that. You can see here my position, 160 shares, market value 6790.40, 0.64% of the overall portfolio. And here you can see on the bottom, dividend yield 4.831%. So very good for new investors. Again, fractional shares have kind of made this obsolete. But again, an ETF that pays out a dividend on a monthly basis, very rare for that to happen. The next couple here are Vanguard funds. I do like Vanguard funds because the expense ratios are very, very low. If you took a look at that prior video I put up just last week, these funds typically have expense ratios around 0.04%. The prior fund here, for example, SPHD, I think is around 0.3%, and some funds can get up to 1%. So very good funds with very low expense ratios. You can see here, 40 shares, 14,384.80, 1.35% of the overall portfolio value. And I do have a Vanguard brokerage account as well, which I do have this stock as well as VYM, another very good Vanguard fund, Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF that I have on that account. Here in Robinhood portfolio, 20 shares, $2,006.41. Again, just a small proportion of the overall portfolio. Now we are going to transition into healthcare stocks. First, some pharmaceutical companies here. AbbVie, ABBV, you can see on the bottom here, 31 shares, $3,208.50. Eli Lilly and Company, LLY, 5 shares, $921.45. Pfizer, PFE, this is the first stock that I bought with the Robinhood portfolio, again back in 2016. 130 shares, $46.16.30 for the market cap there, market value I should say. Vitaris, this was an offshoot from Pfizer. I bought this stock simply because I held stocks in Pfizer. You can see here average cost is 0 because again, this was simply broken away from Pfizer, an offshoot company. So I didn't really buy this one, simply got shares because I own Pfizer. You can see current market value, $236.80, 16 shares. Abbott Laboratories, ABT, 60 shares, $71.99.40. Some healthcare services companies as well. Cardinal Health, CAH, 18 shares, $1,056.24. And Johnson & Johnson, J&J, 6 shares, $961.86. Now we move into some industrials. First with aerospace and defense. Boeing, This is by far one of the largest holdings in the portfolio. I think currently the largest, as you can see here, 1,200 shares, 307,200. Again, portfolio diversity over a quarter there, 28.86%. Initially got into this stock after the very large drop with the coronavirus pandemic here. If we take a look at the 5-year perspective here, jumped in when it was sub 100, then around 120 or so. So very good performance so far. I did have some prior shares as well, so you can see that average cost a little bit higher there, 175.53, but overall a very good total return, 45.84%, almost $100,000 in total return. And I will be doing some options trading with this stock, but as you guys saw from, again, another video this prior week, a very large error, a big mistake with this particular company because I was going to sell it off under a year of holding, so I would have been subjected to short-term capital gains versus long-term. So I would be subjecting myself to 20% more tax potentially. So I went ahead and bought those shares back, but that was about a $9,000, almost $10,000 mistake on this one. But again, this stock, as soon as it gets over 1 year of holding, which will be a few more months, I'm going to do some call sells to sell this off. If it does trend up, probably around 270, 280 or so. If it does get that high, I'm more than happy to sell off long-term capital gains, and then I'll put some more put contracts in to buy this stock back. Next stock here, another aerospace company, Airbus, EADSY, 2 shares, 58.48. Lockheed Martin, LMT, 1 share, 355.07. And another newer addition after the very large drop here with the coronavirus pandemic, Southwest Airlines, LUV, 100 shares, 61.10. Those will be the aerospace companies, some conglomerates here, GE, current position 228, market value 3,016.44. 3M, MMM, 12 shares, 22.66. WAB, again, this was a stock simply because I was holding, I believe it was General Electric. You can see here, 1 share, average cost is 0, market value 76.75. ITW, Illinois Toolworks, for machinery, 1 share, 218.69. Some railroad companies here, CNI, Canadian National Railroad, 1 share, 116.82. UNP, Union Pacific, 1 share, 210.80. Some chemical companies here, or excuse me, a supply company here, International Paper, IP, 2 shares, 107.16. Here are some chemical companies, Corteva, CTVA, again, average cost 0 because this came from DuPont, that is kind of broken up into a few different companies, including DuPont here, DD, 2 shares, 154.20. And Dow, these are all one company. You can, again, see on the bottom there, average cost is 0. 2 shares, 127.88. And now we move into the automotive sector here, consumer discretionary with Ford Motor Company, another very large holding in the portfolio. I've had this for quite some time. Initially bought it as a dividend stock. Unfortunately, it does not have a dividend currently, but I think once it does get a dividend, that $13 or so should spike up. And I, again, did put quite a bit, or at least allocated a lot of capital into Ford after the big drop here, again getting down to $4 or $5, and you can see here the very good performance here, tremendous performance over the past 1 year of trading, 185.02. So currently 17,700 shares, 229,000. Again, just about a quarter of the portfolio, 21.52%. I plan on keeping this for the longer term. I do think it will get its dividend back maybe the next year or so. When that does come back, I do believe Ford will even climb higher, maybe around $15, $16 or so. It has a few new products out as well. Bronco, a whole new class of vehicles that Ford is producing. And then some other very nice electric cars that should be coming through the pipeline, including the Mach-E, which is currently for sale. That's been doing very nicely compared to some of the comparable models from Tesla. So very excited about Ford here. I'm going to be keeping this in the portfolio for the longer term. And because I want to do that, I'll probably not sell any call contracts off on Ford. Simply keep it in the portfolio and hope to get dividend back and see how some of its new products will do over the next few years. So that is Ford. GM here, 1 share, $60 for market value. Here is Tesla, TSLA, currently 235 shares, $153,000. Been doing a lot of options trading with Tesla, buying and selling this stock off. You can see currently total return down 56.16. Just because one of my put contracts to buy the stock was up around $790, so definitely lost quite a bit of money there. On an incremental basis here with each week's contracts for this stock, doing a lot of put contracts for Tesla. But again, I'll continue to do a lot of trading with Tesla with regards to options. Next one here, Garmin Electronics Company, GRMN, 2 shares, 251.42. McDonald's moving into restaurants, MCD, 10 shares, 22.24. Yum Brands, 1 share, 107.96. YUMC, the China offshoot from Yum Brands, 1 share, 60.55. KTB moving into textiles, Couture Brands, 1 share, 52.78. Again, this was an offshoot from LB Brands, so the average cost is 0. LB, I do have 1 share, 60.60. Very good rate of return there, as you can see. Our market cost 32.43. Cisco, 1 share, 79.70. Moving into household goods, one other clothing company here, textiles, VF Corp, 10 shares, 796.30. Archer Daniels Midland Agriculture here, 2 shares, 113.66. Here's some household brands now. Colgate, 8 shares, 599.84. KMB Kimberly Clark, 2 shares, 260.64. Hershey moving into some packaged goods, 2 shares, 314.64. Kraft Foods KHC, 18 shares, 708.80. PG Procter & Gamble, 6 shares, 768.06. Now moving into some beverage companies here. Anheuser-Busch BUD, 6 shares, 385.74. KDP Keurig, 25, 853.50. KO Coca-Cola, 12 shares, 607.80. PepsiCo PEP, 4 shares, 538. And now we move into some financials here. First with some banks. Axis Financial, 11 shares, 573.32. Huntington Bank, HBAN, 4 shares, 64. Morgan Stanley MS, 10 shares, 827.50. Wells Fargo WFC, 1 share, 39.54. Moving into an insurance company here, Old Republic ORI, 70 shares, 1530.90. Now we move into some information technology. First up on top here, IBM International Business Machines, 3 shares, 386.70. Here's that very large holding in Apple AAPL, currently 2,000 shares, $240,000. Been doing a lot of options trading. You can see here, have some work to do for total return, down 12,960. Overall, I'm still up about $5,000 or so because of all of the contract premium with the options trades, put contracts and sell contracts, call contracts I've been doing. But overall, the holdings in the portfolio currently in the negative. Definitely looking to sell this off. In the near term here, you can see 1 year it's up very nicely here, 94.22%. But if we take a look at the shorter term perspective versus longer term, definitely down here, 6.58%, 4% over the past 3 months of trading. So again, doing a lot of trading with Apple here. Next company here, AMD, 3 shares, 236.46. Intel INTC, 13 shares, 827.45. And last one here, Microsoft MSFT, 1 share, 230.72. Now we move into telecommunications. AT&T, simply T for the ticker symbol, 750 shares, 22.342. This is a stock I've done quite a bit of options trading in as well. That's where I basically got the majority of my holdings. I'm currently holding for the very nice dividend here. Still during the coronavirus pandemic, almost 7%, 6.989%. It's been doing very well. A couple shares here in Verizon, 3 shares, 168.30. I have one energy company here, oil and gas, ExxonMobil, XOM, 11 shares, 622.05. Some utility companies here, CenterPoint Energy, CNP, 4 shares, 89.04. Consolidated Edison ED, 5 shares, 361.50. Southern SO, 3 shares, 179.55. And now we move into some real estate investment companies. These typically have very good dividend yields. As you can see with this particular company, APLE, 7.947%. Some have lost their dividend during the pandemic, but they should be getting those back here shortly, including this one here up on screen, APLE Apple Hospitality. Very large holding here, 1,300 shares, 19,630. FRT, Federal Realty, 6 shares, 605.64. A few more REITs here, Iron Mountain, IRM, 200 shares, 71.66. O Realty Income, 40 shares, $24.70. And one of the original stocks in the portfolio, Stag Industrial, STAG, 1 share, $33.45. Here are a few closed-end funds, some miscellaneous stocks as well. GOF Guggenheim, 4 shares, $83.96. And you can see on the bottom here, this stock actually is no longer supported. But since I've had it for such a long time, I can continue to keep this. But really, all I can do is sell this off. Can't buy additional shares in GOF. PCM Fund, another stock in a similar situation. 2 shares, $22.88. Prospect Capital, PSEC, another one of the original stocks in the portfolio. 400 shares, $3,052. Very good dividend yield for this one. Let's see here. In the middle, dividend yield 9.436%. Essentially a $24 dividend per month. These mainly pay out on a monthly basis, these closed-end funds. PIMCO here, another stock not supported. 1 share, $17.95. YYY, 1 share, $16.69. Bond fund here, BHK, 1 share, $15.01. And one of the stocks that's probably had the best overall rate of return since I've held it. If you take a look at a longer term perspective here, 1 year, it's up an astounding 9,204%. I got into the stock around 30 cents or so. Interestingly, it's not showing any average cost for some reason. I guess the price is so low. I might have bought this less than 10 cents actually. But I wish I would have known then what the price would kind of trend up to. I would have put a lot more money into it. And I think this is even better than Bitcoin over this trading period here, over the last 1 year of trading. But that is the total portfolio here. I'll kind of go back to this view here, go up to the top and scroll down here. Again, all of the stocks in the portfolio. There are a few stocks that have the majority of the holdings here. Boeing, Tesla, Ford, and up until recently, CGC, Canopy Growth, was also a very large holding. That's been replaced by Apple. And most of those larger holdings I'm doing a lot of options trading with, except Ford. I definitely think that's a good stock for the longer term. Want to wait for that dividend yield to come back before I make any trades on that one. So that is the portfolio. Again, update from the last year's update from about $500,000 to $706 currently. And over the last 1 month of trading here, touching almost $750,000, getting up to around $745,000, $746,000. And that big trade mistake with Boeing, eating another $10,000 off of that. So at one point, a little bit above $750,000. But again, that is the portfolio. Not to make the video too long, I'll kind of end it here. Again, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, if you guys enjoy the video series, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Until the next video, we'll see you then.